What is up, guys, and welcome here to the Daily Quest number 8. And of course, this is going to be 9. Is it 9? Is it 9? It's been a little while. It's been a little while now. Okay, let's kind of recap what's going on. It's Tuesday, or it's Wednesday. Oh my goodness, I'm actually so out of the loop with the world. So it is Wednesday. Typically, I do the Daily Quest on Tuesdays. Now, yesterday there was a bit of an issue with my ISP to the point where my ISP would not load to websites. It wouldn't load Reddit and it wouldn't load Twitch. Everything else was perfectly fine, but since I couldn't get on Twitch, it means I can't stream on Twitch. So I wasn't able to stream it all yesterday, which is quite unfortunate. And on top of that, the replay files I thought would be broken because the servers went down for maintenance for Blizzard on Tuesday, but there wasn't actually a patch. So fortunately, the replay files did not get ripperonied, and they're still fine. On top of that, I went to PAX East this past weekend, and I had a pretty cool opportunity to sit down and talk with Blizzard people. Now, they invited a pretty small group to a Blizzard VIP party where, honestly, they treated us incredibly well. We got really cool goodie bags. We got these super awesome Overwatch glasses. Anyone at PAX could get these bad boys. I mean, they have Tracer on them, and Tracer is, of course, the best. But we got, like, Heroes of the Storm hats and scarves and free skins, and it's some pretty neat stuff. But we didn't get to play Sylvanas, and I'm quite sad. We were able to play Overwatch at PAX, and that was a lot of fun. We got to try out the 2 new heroes. We got to play out a bunch. I love McCree, the new cowboy guy in Overwatch. He is super fun. Just his revolver feels so right in the abilities he has. He has a flashbang. Really, really fun stuff. But on top of that, we got to play Blackrock Mountain, which is, of course, the new Hearthstone wing or expansion. And we had to play the first boss in the first wing, which is kind of like the pub fight in Blackrock Spire. It's a very interesting fight where he summons I played it on heroic. I didn't even try regular mode because I figured it'd be too easy. But basically, his ability that he casts every turn to cost him 0 mana is he pulls 1 card from your deck and he pulls 2 cards from his deck and he puts them on the board. But the pre-decks they had built at BlizzCon were filled with legendaries. So turn 2, I got Nor's Dormu and I got the Foe Reaper turn 3, I think it was, and I'm just pulling these ridiculous legendaries out for free. He just keeps putting on the board, and he's putting good stuff on the board as well. But super super fun. I'm really excited for all the new cards they're adding for that game. I think they're adding 30 some odd skins, or not skins. I read skins in the chat. 30 some odd new cards to the game, which is great. But in terms of heroes, we didn't get to try anything, and that was very saddening. But we did see Sylvanas, and we did get to talk to Blizzard people about the future of Heroes esports and kind of what they're expecting, what they want to see the game ultimately do. And I can just assure you, everything I heard was exactly what I wanted to hear from a company like this. They really want to see Heroes succeed as a competitive game, and they're very committed to continuing to push that forward. And if you guys happen to miss the announcement, one thing that they did announce officially at PAX East was Heroes of the Dorm, which is a collegiate league where you can actually earn full tuition for your school, which is nuts. It goes up to $450,000 in prizing for the winning team. So that's $500,000. It's a ton of money. And a lot of people in the competitive scene were a little bit upset about this. They were a little upset. Why are they supporting random college kids and not supporting us? And the fact of the matter that's really cool about the whole Heroes of the Dorm is this is going to bring new people into the competitive scene. It's going to help it expand. It's going to help us get more teams, and that's something we desperately need to grow the scene. We need more teams. We need more people playing. Because Heroes has a big community, but as a competitive game, it's very, very young and very small. But we're still in beta, so we shouldn't complain. But this is no matter how you look at it, it's a really cool, really good initiative, and I'm looking forward to that. And then Sylvanas, I could talk about her for days. She's going to be insanely good. She basically has a ranged Twilight Dream. It's a 4-second AoE silence that she shoots out, and she can activate whenever she wants. So it travels, and then you explode the arrow. When you decide, you just press R again. And it's a 4-second silence. So you pair that with things like Heroic Leap. You pair that with just Twilight Dream as it is, or Metamorphosis, and suddenly you're able to completely safely meta in because everything that he's metaing on top of is going to be silenced from that arrow out of Sylvanas. So really cool. Looking forward to that. Hopefully the Sylvanas patch is soon. But today we're looking at a little guy named Zeratul. Now, Zeratul is, of course, a stealthy melee assassin. That's kind of, what he is. That's his jam. He like runs around, he's all cloaked, and then he just blows people up. He ruins them. He's a Templar. He's a DT. And if you've ever played StarCraft 2, Dark Templars, they hit super hard. They're annoying because they move quick and they're stealth, and you need vision in order to remove them, and they just ruin your day. He's got Blink, he's got the Singularity Spike, and we can actually just take a quick look at him in game. So Blink, of course, that's his E, where he can just blink to a targeted location. He's got the Singularity Spike, that's his W, and he just throws it forward, and it will slow and damage the first enemy it hits. And that's, it's pretty good utility. And of course, Cleave, that's just burst damage. It's very good for clearing out lanes because he just spins around and hits everything around him. As for his trait, that's just the Perma Cloak, and when it comes to his heroics, he's got the Void Prison and Shadow Assault. Now, Shadow Assault, you might be saying, what is that? Because typically, if you watch a competitive match, all you ever see is Void Prison, Void Prison, Void Prison, Void Prison. Because the ability is so incredibly strong. I mean, it's so impactful on a fight. It can just turn the tides. You can set up for combos with it, like crazy wombo combos. I need to shut Zeratul up because he will not stop talking. Oh my goodness. Okay, Zeratul has been silenced. But yeah, so VP is like really pretty okay talent. Like it just ruins people's days. But why don't we ever see Shadow Assault? I mean, what is it? Basic attacks charge enemies, have life steal, and attack faster. So it basically puts him like in this frenzy where he gets in your face and he dishes out a lot of damage. Well, if this is your basic attacks getting buffed, conceptually, how cool would it be if we did an auto attack style of Zeratul? And that's pretty much what I've tasked the viewers to do. And we've got a couple of replays we're going to be looking at today that go through and they actually go forth with this. So before we hop into the replays, we're going to take a look at the standard style Zeratul, and then we're going to look at what we should probably expect from in this style here. Now, because I actually do believe Zeratul has a bit of potential for auto attack. And it's not something we've seen tried out, because the standard Zeratul style we see, the get in, dish out a ton of damage, just burst, and then get out. It's kind of like, the silent assassin. You're pretty much a ninja, going in, unloading, and then just killing your target, cutting the throat, and then just gone, and no one even knew you were there. That's the idea. But we can look over at his talent tree, and we can just run through a pretty standard build that we might see on Zeratul. So typically, it's about getting in and getting out, right? So rapid displacement is a very common level 1 talent. When you look at level 4, there's pretty much two options for the standard meta. Gathering Power, that makes you stronger when you have stacks of kills, and we now have the Sustained Anomaly that's been gaining a decent amount of popularity. So you can grab either of those two. Rapid displacement, gathering power, that looks good. And then, you know what? Sustainability is quite good to have. You don't have a healer near you all the time. All right, let's grab first aid for 7, and then you'd grab VP at 10. And when you get to level 13, that's when you're grabbing Wormhole. Wormhole is going to allow you to blink in and then blink out. That gives you a 3-second window after you've blunk your way into the enemy's face. Unload all your abilities and then use Wormhole to blink on out. Very powerful utility. And typically we will actually see double bombs, so this is it's more burst because you can use this ability twice at level 16, and then at 20 it's going to be Rewind. That allows you to do all of this twice. So this kit, very assassiny, very in your face. It's possible to grab Void Slash with this. It's not really like a common thing. Shadow Spike is cute, but and follow through, also cute, but yeah. So let's remove all of these selections and take a look at what we might see for an auto attack Zeratul. This is what we kind of tasked our players to do, and it's all about buffing his auto attack. Now, no, he's not Illidan. Illidan has a very fast auto attack. He's like smack, 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 smack. Zeratul is much more slow, but it also hits harder for each auto attack. So Seasoned Marksman. For every 6 enemy minions or mercenary kills near your hero, you gain 1 basic attack damage. So this is buffing auto attack throughout the game, especially on a longer map like Cursed or Garden of Terror. This is going to give you more auto attack damage throughout the game. So we're going to grab that for level 1. When we look at level 4, Focus Attack seems like a likely talent. Now this is kind of what I'm suggesting, not necessarily what we're going to see. We'll find out in these games, but Focus Attack is, every 10 seconds you get 50% bonus damage on that auto attack. So you blink in, your first auto attack hits like a truck. Very, very nice, very powerful. And then searing attacks. It gives you 50% for 5 seconds bonus on all your auto attacks. So already, this is focus on auto attack. Get in there, and you still have that escape with the blink. So there's a few things to think about at this point in the game. You're looking at like level 7. You're looking pre-10. You're probably going to want to try to walk up to your enemy, engage with that auto attack, or maybe even the singularity spike, and then throw your cleave down. Of course, you want to pop searing attacks, do the damage you can, and then blink to get out. But at the same time, you're also looking at grabbing searing attacks. If you're relying on blink to get out in these earlier situations, it might be worth considering first aid. So there's some variations that we could see, but he doesn't have the same kind of sustainability as other heroes. And since it's a little bit more about being in their face, first aid could actually be almost a crucial talent in this kind of composition. But we'll see what everyone ends up going with. Level 10, Shadow Assault. Of course, this is the core of this. It gives you... it not only does it give you a ton of mobility, but it's 20% increased attack speed for 6 seconds. So if you manage to pop searing attacks and you pop Shadow Assault and you just start wailing on their face, it's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to hurt a lot of bit. 13 is actually probably the hardest tier to decide what to go for in this kind of style, though. I mean, the Assassin's Blade, that's 25% attack damage for 5 seconds when breaking Cloak. So you break out a Cloak, and you have 25% attack damage there for 5 seconds. If you pop searing attacks, you get 50% attack damage. Like, suddenly you're hitting really hard. But to give up Wormhole, Burning Rage I probably wouldn't get. Giant Killer can be good too, but to give up Wormhole is such a hard thing to do. And it's going to be interesting to see what everyone opts for in this game. But looking at 16, I think Berserk is likely going to be the option. Activating to increase your attack speed by 40% and movement speed by 10% for 4 seconds. So this helps so much, because if you already have a lot of damage and you're hitting really hard, your attack speed's pretty low. Berserk can really help that work out a lot better. And since you're not speccing into double bombs, you're not speccing to all these abilities, you're not going to get rewind at 20. You're going to get Vorpal Blades, because that's 20% more damage and 20% slow every time you hit. So this is definitely different. It's very interesting. We're going to see what the guys end up opting to do. It's not something that we ever see in competitive. We never see anything remotely like this. And I think there's actually a sizable amount of potential. You look at things like Kerrigan. Gosh, Kat wants her fame. She wants her fame. You look at things like Kerrigan, and she's kind of fallen off. And Illidan thrived because of his ability to stay alive and dish out a lot of damage. This, I think, will probably ultimately hit a lot harder than Illidan, but the sustainability is a factor. So he doesn't necessarily have any kind of evasion or any kind of ability to survive other than blink. He just has the safe get out, blink over that wall, get to safety, and leave. So we will have to see how that all works out. But I do have some stats that we can quickly look at that were provided by the person who submitted the first replay we're looking at today. And he didn't give me his gamer tag, but Paulo Roberto Pinto de Souza was the name on his email, so we're going to go with that. And he submitted this replay all this information about level 20. Now, he actually did the math. He added up like different talents and different information regarding the style of a damage comparison between an auto attack style and the caster bursty style. And he just kind of did the math with cleave and like the double singularity spike, even the quads with the 4 bombs, and then the auto attack. And he mathed it, and it looks like the total damage dealt is going to be about 4720. This is at level 20. And then he mathed out, you can see auto attack. So that's looking at cleave, that's looking at singularity, and then the auto attack. And then he's saying when you pick up assassins, that's going to be 514 times 7 because of searing. You have to activate them through the combo. And then the focused attacks, it's the first one plus the 8th one. That's 2 focus attacks during that time frame, dealing a lot of damage. This is very perfect scenario if you're able to use all your abilities and get the ultimate efficiency out of everything. But still, in theory, in a scenario where you're able to sit there and unleash everything uninterrupted, the damage potential is higher for auto attack. Now, granted, this is something that's only going to happen in a situation where Zeratul has tons of support and the enemy team is locked down and he can just kind of go willy-nilly and just unload on his enemies. But still, it's cool to see that, like, based on what he did for his math here, I'm the worst at math and I'm not going to try to prove him right or wrong. There is actually greater potential for auto attack. Of course, you still don't have that safety of the burst, get in, get out with the caster style, but either way, I'm very excited to jump into his game, and we're just going to do that right now. Taking a look at his replay on Haunted Mines. Alright. We're booting this up. I have not watched any of the replays. And again, this guy did not send me his name. So Paulo, I don't have your gamer tag, and if it wasn't your email, rip me. I assume it's 0 here, but there's also Crimson. So we'll have to watch the build and discover which Zeratul is the auto attack Zeratul. Ooh, maybe it's Crimson because he has Seasoned Marksman, and Seasoned Marksman is the auto attack way. But we will have to find out. We can fast forward just a little bit to speed this game up as they do get into lanes. Now the goal for auto attack Zeratul with Seasoned Marksman is to farm. Okay, they're both Seasoned Marksman, so is this a walking Wednesday challenge? Are they battling each other? Are they both going auto attack Zeratul? Okay, alright, so right off the bat, you have a lot of aggression in the middle, and you can see the Zeratul's in the back throwing at the Singularity Spike, and Gazlo decides to charge his laser in a very unsafe position, which will ultimately end up causing him to lose his life. But Dibbles gets a little bit too far forward. The lone Baneling going into the bush, gonna end up falling. Oh no, that hook will secure the kill onto Zagara. Nowhere to run and hide. If he ran this way, even the mines would have ruined his day. And this is just like, how many lives can we throw away at the start of the game? So zero Colt, and then 0 will stay alive for the time being. Gazlo has regained his life. Death timers at the start of the game are, of course, very low. And even though it's 2 kills to 1, the experience is almost identical. I mean, it makes such a small difference. Those early kills do very little. Ooh, Thrall is dead. Banelings connecting with Lord Dibbles. But a very aggressive early start for the red team right now. Talent's still pretty much dead even, and we can just speed it up as we move forward and wait for the first mines to spawn, because this build is something that's going to take time to flesh out. So if you look at Zeratul, you can see that he has 2 Seasoned Marksman stacks on that Zeratul, and the enemy Zeratul also sitting on 2. Zagara gonna be able to get away this time. 0 gonna look, but these double tanks are actually gonna be quite an annoyance. Shadow Charge coming out. The hook will connect with 0, and the blink is gonna be able to get him to safety. Still 2 stacks. 2 stacks, both of our Zeratuls. He's healing up, and the mines have officially opened up. Now we are in a slight fast forward. The mines, team's taking their sweet time to get into the mines. And Sammer is being left alone to grab those top skulls. Ooh, but our Zeratul did end up dying 4 on the side of the red team. Lord Diablo, very low right now. Hammer coming around with the choke. What does 0 opt to go for? Is he going to blink for it to that hammer? No, he just goes in with a little bit of auto attack. The Mala is so very low, but no, they're not able to get the kill. Thrall turns around, tries to throw down Chain Lightning, and Venom goes down onto Stitches and will end up killing him. But the game just continues to move forward. There's already been 9 kills in this game total, 6-3. The Baneling's not going to be able to do enough, and Malfurion will fall. Zagara doing her best to get a few skulls, 31-31 right now. And Zeratul has entered the mines once again. He should just grab these skulls. He should just grab them, but he's hungry. He's going to pick up a kill on Hammer, and this is going to allow Diablo to get these skulls. What is he going to be able to do? Zeratul v Zeratul. Let's slow it down. Alright, Singularity Spike missed for the red Zeratul, so the battle is looking favorable for green Zeratul. Blink forward, dishing out some damage, and he's able to get that last hit. You can see how hard each auto attack hits. No Shadow Charge available. He's going to be able to leave. Oh my goodness. As I say that, Shadow Charge does in fact come off cooldown, and the Envenom is going to be enough to get another kill on this Diablo. So blue team, they've brought it back 7-9 in terms of kills, and they are in position to try to take this boss. Diablo still dead at this point in time. Zeratul respawning, going back up to the top. And again, they've been in the mine so much, so he's only got 4 season marksman stacks to the 3 of the red team Zeratul. So that's definitely something you have to consider, because you really want to be in lane farming, and maybe this map makes it even, just kind of a less efficient map to do the auto attack build. So just kind of recapping what our Zeratools have at this point in time. Ooh, let's see what happens in this fight first. Gaz is super low, Stitch is going for that kill. Malf just walking right on into the battle instead of trying to get away. Opts to just try to stand in the ring of his healing ward, and it does not pay off, and the 3 members will fall for the blue team. This is going to be a 56-44 skull goal. Nothing terrible, but looking at the build, Seasoned Marksman, Focused Attack, and Searing. So this is full on auto attack. Zero must be our guy. But at the same time, looking at the other side, it's actually Seasoned Gathering Power and Searing Attack. So it's actually, it's actually possible that they're both going a auto attack style, which is rather interesting. The blink forward, not going to be enough to get the kill there, as First Aid is keeping that Sergeant Hammer alive for the time being, and Hook is not going to end up connecting. They're all rushing forward with that Wind Fury, but he's all by himself fighting 3 members. All 5 are there. The heals, the blink, he's a little bit off point with his blink, and Wind Fury is going to be able to get him out of that situation. A little bit of a misstep by our Zeratul player, not capitalizing on the potential kill. And Malf has to be careful. A big root, his root on cooldown. 1 more second till it's ready. Throw the root down in that choke point, please, please. Lord Malf, will you live? You will not live today. I am sorry, my friend. And Zero is gonna end up going in and die. It just seems like they can't catch a break. Red team, 16 kills to 8 suddenly at double their kills. And we are rapidly approaching 10 for the red team, so we'll see what heroics they go for. If that Zeratul does go for Shadow Assault, we're going to be in for a treat, because it means we'll likely see a double Shadow Assault in this game. There's a napalm for Hammer. He's looking. The Apocalypse here for Diablo. He's still thinking. Okay, it's there. Shadow Assault. Very interesting in level 10. It's not too far off for our blue team. They're defending that golem. Their golem did a decent amount of damage. Hammer just barely lived. No, my goodness. Zero coming from around the bottom, eliminating that Hammer at the last second before the hearth. And he's poking around, looking for a snack. All right, so Shadow Assault was picked up. I didn't even realize level 10 was achieved, and we do have Robo Goblin, we have Tranquility, Shadow Assault, and then the Maw and Sundering. So double Shadow Assault, double auto attack Zeratul style. Didn't expect this for the Wonky Wednesday. Typically we don't see it facing off against each other, and the Maw will be enough to get this Cigar player away from that Zeratul. Meanwhile, this is not going to reach. But interesting idea, and the blue Zeratul is going to end up slaying the red Zeratul. We can see how powerful Tranquility is, no matter how much damage they put down onto our Malfi. He just doesn't seem to die. He throws Healing Ward down on top of it. He's got the regrowth on himself, and if he ran, he might be able to live a little bit more safely, but no, not going to be the case at 13. Once he has Ice Block, he's going to be near invincible seeming. Diablo does fall, but has enough souls for the auto respawn, and there goes the blue Zeratul player getting blown up from the Sergeant Hammer. Stitch's combo, and you know what? Thrall has to be careful. The hook does connect, and that's going to be lights out. And Gaslow just kind of flicking his laser all over the place. He doesn't know what he wants to shoot. He cannot decide. Yeah, he opts for the minions, opts for the push. He's got Robo Goblin, so his damage to non-heroic targets is quite large, but with this combo coming out, he doesn't have Gravel Bomb to try to save himself. He's got a lot of aggression on himself. The Napalm Strike, one more hit from Hammer or a Blink for it would be enough for the kill. This is a path that will not work out for him, and he will be a collapsed little sandwich lunch bag. I don't even... Well, that was not a thing, what I just called him. Sandwich lunch bag. I guess a sack lunch would be a more fitting term. I like that. Sack lunch. Much better. Now, Malfurion, they're doing their thing, but let's just take a look at the Zeratul. Just compare what they've got going on. So he's got the Searing Attack and he's got the Seasoned Marksman. So he's starting to really get the burst potential. 11 bonus. So that's bonus attack damage 11. That adds up. And then we look at the other Zeratul. He's sitting at 7. So in terms of his farm in the lanes, he's much weaker because he's only got 7 bonus damage versus 11. He's got the 2 gathering power stacks though, and this is ability power. So this doesn't actually lend into that auto attack style. This is more of a hybrid Zeratul because this is buffing your singularity spike. This is buffing your cleave. But it still helps in the burst potential because you don't have to necessarily go full on auto attack. Granted, that's what I prefer to see, but we're gonna assume that the replay was sent by this one here, the blue Zeratul, who. And as they currently are battling it out, we will see who ends up winning in this little duel. Oh. 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 Wait, did Zero not even use Shadow Assault and win that fight? We're going to find out. Okay, they left. Crimson is alone, all by himself. Zero has spotted him. Crimson is actually just AFK, it seems. And Zero's going to start the fight. And yes, he does pop Shadow Assault, but it was a little bit too late. So he loses his life. So that is actually what happened. Looks like he was a little bit AFK. Zero ends up picking up a nice free kill. But looking at the seed count, though, red team vastly winning this set of mines because they are looking at 43-11, and Stitches is making his way to that last auxiliary camp on the top. Diablo coming from behind, laying out some damage. Thrall is going to need a massive Sundering to sustain through this. Where is it? You need it right now? A little bit too late. The Maw came down right as the Sundering went out. If Sundering was a bit sooner, could have kept Malfurion alive. The Tranquility could have kept a lot of momentum pushing forward. A lot of times you have to kind of look at the situation. It's like, okay, well, if I use Sundering now, I'll only hit 2 targets, but it will allow Malfurion to sustain through a little bit more burst damage and potentially keep living through the situation. But not what we ended up seeing there. And if Malf had Ice Block, it would have helped out quite a bit. Looking at Full Moonfire, it's kind of a weird. It's not an ideal talent. And if you had Ice Block in its place, that situation would have been a completely different fight. So something to consider for our Malf player. And Zeratul is just straight up being a ward. He's living that ward life, and the red team is going to get a massive goal. The Hearth life is real. They're going home. They're going home. Nope. Lord Stitch is going home. 90 or 81 Skull Golem. Spawning green. This box is green. Dear Blizzard, make the Observer box purple for Heroes of the Storm. This is too StarCrafty. This is way too StarCrafty. There's no other way you can look at it other than StarCrafty. Zagara got riggedy wrecked. Oh. I believe. Oh! The wall. Knocking him away, keeping him alive. And yeah, that Diablo died right quick. But so did that fort. The boss just slaving away, taking down those towers. Whereas, oh, can he do it? Can he do it? Nope, he can't do it. I don't believe. He did it. He proved me wrong. Last possible second, he managed to get that kill. The wall comes out, but not going to be enough for that hammer to survive, and the Knights are picked up. Singularity Spike catches that Knight, not able to connect with the Thrall player, so desperately needed to get the kill. And the self-heals are real, keeping this Thrall alive. Putrid Bile attempting to pick up the kill. Chain Lightning coming out, providing a bit of sustain. Zero, I think he already used Blink, so he can't blink out of the situation. It's just about ready. The self-heals, not enough, so close. If Malfi had been anywhere nearby, or decided to help, could have nicely turned that, but opting to destroy that boss, kind of crucial. I'm trying, says Zeratul. And yeah, these Knights, they're doing their thing. They're fighting. They're slaying. Giants will be picked up by the red team. and just kind of looking at the talents once again. This Zeratul is actually going for a very auto-attack style build. Picking up Assassin's Blade, gain 25% damage for 5 seconds, and then he's picking up Berserk. On the flip side, though, we also have Assassin's Blade, and I'm pretty darn certain we're going to see Berserk. So other than gathering power, they're both auto-attack Zeratul builds, which is very, very cool. And we're seeing that Shadow Assault go for it onto that hammer. You just cannot escape it. So much aggression. But the mines, the Napalm Strike, and the minions that have aggroed onto Zero force him back. He needs to play a little bit safe. Crimson in the front line looking. He finds Thrall and he's unleashing that burst. Sundering peeling for a bit, and the laser coming up from Gazlo is actually enough to zone. The pull in onto Malfurion will ruin his day. And man, very back and forth, but these giants and turrets, these giants actually, I think they walked down, over, and then up, which is like the weirdest pathing you can ever imagine. This Zeratul. Gonna be able to blink over the wall. The Chain Lightning will be enough to get the kill with the pairing of Envenom. The Rain of Vengeance Apocalypse combo is gonna ruin Thrall's day, and the Sergeant Hammer tries to boost, but he actually gets stunned out by that bomb, the Explodium charge. In the back, the Diablo did lose his life to Zeratul and Zagara, and Zeratul's looking to pick up a kill onto Zenith first off. So Zenith will take a lot of damage. Singularity Strike. One more auto attack would be enough, but the wall is used, but he blinks over that wall. That means he has no escape, so he waits to get cloaked. It takes 4 seconds to get back into your cloak. He finds that, he gets to safety, and he backs on up. Blinking forward, picking up another kill onto Vala, cleaning up. I mean, that 10-second window where you have additional 50% damage from focus attacks. That 10-second window makes him so bursty when he starts that fight. And yes, we do see Berserk was picked up. So we pair things like Berserk with Shadow Assault, and some crazy things become possible. Zero waiting for a member to show their face, and the first member is going to be a Stitches. He does not react to this, though. He's looking for something squishy. He wants to find something that's, you know, more appealing to his taste buds. And our little Gazlo friend, he's fighting on these turrets, and Zeratul realizes he might need to help his buddy out. Nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. The other Zeratul, in the meantime, did lose his life. Right now, this is looking like a better mines already. We can see they're spread out. They're collecting as many skulls as possible. And what is the option here? Look how much damage that Stitches took. Full health, and this auto textile Zeratul just ripped through him. Like, we actually have to watch that again, because there's no Hunter's Mark on the Stitches. There's no there's nothing that increases the damage taken. His health's at like 60%, and he just melts. Crit, 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 evaporating him. Turns over to Diablo. The damage is just as fierce, and he will lose his life. Very, very impressive stuff from the AA Zeratul. 20 stacks right now for Seasoned Marksman, and on our other Zeratul is presently Rip. I can't actually see because, well, he's Rip. Vala gonna be caught out here. And this damage output is so real. Rain of Vengeance used to peel. Nice dodge by the blue team. Oh. Yeah! Zeratul's gonna connect. Singularity Spike. Oh my goodness, the lifesteal is real, but the heals from Mouth gonna be enough. Mana is so incredibly low for Zero right now. That multi-shot gonna pick up a kill. And if Zero had any mana at all, he would finish this. Mouth, though, throwing the roots down. Gonna throw some Moonfires here and there. Nope. Opting not to throw Moonfires. This long, drawn-out fight. Yeah! Now, during all of this, they forfeited quite a few seeds. They chased and chased and chased and chased Vala, and Thrall is upset about this because he's rightfully upset. Now they're going to die. Shadow Assault, oh my goodness, Sundering might be enough. No, Shadow Assault providing so much mobility and aggression for the Zeratul. Malfurion going to try to get out. I think his roots are still on cooldown, and if we go up to the top of the mines, he does end up falling. Thrall is the next one on the menu. Napalm Strike not going to connect. The Wolf goes out. Thrusters, 3 seconds on them, so Thrall lucks out. If we had just stuck together and killed them first, yeah, it's true, but they were definitely, you guys, I mean, there's definitely a lot of time that was invested in trying to kill that Vala. Hammer does fall to 0 here in the middle. We see that both are double tanks. They're trying to merc it up together, getting in the jungle. They're grabbing some giants with their big warrior-like bodies. And, well, this boss is wailing away at this bat keep when the blue boss has only reached the goal. 10 skull difference in favor of the blue team. But how much is it going to matter in the end? Malfurion has fallen, but Zeratul and Hammer are down on the opposing side. We can see Gazla going forward with his increased damage to all those mercs and minions. He's doing what he can to blow them up. Yeah, he is. I am hunting their ass off, says Zeratul. He definitely is. And this boss will fall. No more ammo left on this keep, but it is incredibly vulnerable. There are no mules in this game. So both teams are approaching 20. Blue team, they'll be the first ones to hit level 20. And this boss will reach the keep and do a little bit of damage. That's good, that's good. It's you know, about getting the boss to that keep. So for the next mines becomes crucial for both teams, because this boss, doesn't matter how many skulls you get, the keep's going to fall. But if the blue team manages to get a big boss, they're going to be able to dish out a lot of damage onto that keep very quickly, and hopefully try to do that. Now, the Zagara is so far away from the rest of the team. This is the last thing you want to see happen. The Maw goes down, but it's not going to be enough. Completely caught out of position and blown up as a result. We can see Zeratul is in the back line. He wants to be the hunter. The turrets from Gazla are actually going to pick up the kill on Vala, stepping forward into that. And through this, Zeratul decides to engage on to Diablo. He's going to use Shadow Assault, blink forward, dish out some damage, dodge a hook, but now he's got both Zeratul and Stitches in hot pursuit. His Rogue's on cooldown, but the Stitches just gets melted. The Sundering comes out from our Thrall player, and the Zeratul will be the one to follow. Zero needs to get into that tranquility, get into those heals. And look how fast he heals up because his health pool is quite low. This auto textile looking to be rather, you know, hurtful when you're able to just kind of unload on your enemies. And since there's not a ton of tons on the enemy team, because Stitches, yeah, he has Pulverize, yeah, he has Hook, and Diablo has Shadow Charge and Flip, but there's no Uther, there's no support to keep them alive. Once the damage is there, the damage is dealt. And that's what's allowing this to have some pretty solid success. Alright, bottom fort has fallen. Level 20 achieved for both teams. We actually see the upgrade, the Virazim friendly. Shadow Assault grants 30% lifesteal and duration is increased by 50%. So this is going to allow that Zeratul to really get in your face and stay alive. He's going to be kind of like an Illidan in that regard. There's no stopping it really. It's in your face, and it's dealing a lot of damage, and it's healing him a sizable amount. Zero's going to opt to Hearth back as soon as the mines are spawning, and I actually like the fact that the Mouth threw his heals down, he even threw the healing ward, and says, look, no, please stay. And Zero respects that. He's like, oh, you know what? You're right. Let's stay. Zagara throws his life away. The team is saying, seriously? What are you doing? Zagara seems to be out of position quite a bit in this game. Something the Zagara player could work on, but the blue team is in the mines first. I like that Zeratul's out in his zone, using that cleave to collect these camps as fast as he can, but this team needs his help now. The flip onto Malfurion, and he's throwing the self-heals down. We see Thrall is opting to just go for the camp. At this point, if you throw your entire team away, doesn't matter how many skulls you get, you're going to be in a tough spot, so you can't throw lives away so willy-nilly. And nice dodge there by Thrall. Gonna mount up, but be caught out by a Shadow Charge and a Singularity Spike, and there's no chance of Thrall surviving. Even with that, it is gonna be lights out. Bolt of the Storm. Oh my! Well, he's keeping him busy. He's not gonna live. But he's doing a good job at being annoying. And during all of this, Zeratul is actually gonna take out this top keep. Zeratul is, like, honestly doing so much work in this game, running around and ganking people, and he's just unleashing on this keep that had near full health. He burned it down so quickly. I mean, just by popping all of his damage abilities, getting in its face, and dishing out as much damage as possible, and we can see the blue team is pinging furiously about getting keeps. Right now, Sergeant Hammer is going to engage, but she is gonna be surprised as she just used Concussive Blast, and that is her only disengage from a Zeratul. From that one blink forward will be enough to secure the kill. And look how low all those bruisers are. Zeratul can go in there, cleave, whack away, wail, hooray, and oh no, Vala! Oh, a clutch blink. Gonna keep Zeratul alive. The bruisers have fallen, and the bosses are spawning 46 to 54. Both keeps will fall, and it's imminent because they're very low at this point in time because our Zeratul player was able to get in there. Malf, what are you doing? No. Why would you corner yourself like that? You're just a sack lunch at that point in time. The kids are going to take you to school and just nom. We do have Giants pushing down bottom. The top keep gonna fall as well as the bottom keep of the blue team. So both, this is actually a really incredibly close race at the end of the game. people in the chat saying, I'd love to see auto attack Zeratul with Bloodlust. Oh my goodness. I need to see that, Oniyui. I need to see that. That sounds phenomenal. But this 50 Skull Golem wailing away on the core, and on the right side, the slightly smaller 46 Skull Golem falling much more quickly as the red team is focusing it. Not going to make it through the shield. This guy, he's not going to make it through the shields either, because that Robo Gazlo, man, he hits like a boss. Looking at the meters, 61,000 damage from 0 on his auto attack Zeratul. There are other auto attack Zeratul sitting at 40k, still doing a lot of damage, but their builds, there's only one difference. This guy, he went for focus attack. He really emphasized the auto attack, whereas the other Zeratul, he opted for gathering power. A crucial mistake. It's auto attack Zeratul build, not middle of the road Zeratul build, my friend. You've got to stick to the auto attack. 0, looking around. Diablo, I mean, he's not afraid. Oh, but he's got to be careful. He's got to be careful. Turrets! You don't want to fight into this. You do not want to fight into this. The Shadow Assault going forward. The knockback is real, but he blinks back forward in with that Shadow Assault. The self-heals are nice. The heals come up from Alf, and he's falling very quickly, but Tranquility is healing him up equally as quick. That Trank keeping the entire team alive. Diablo coming into the back line, taking a lot of damage from the turrets, and the Zeratul is going to actually, I mean, without tank, you have to remember the red team is going to suffer from that. Constantly, the Maw is buying them the time they need to potentially sustain some health. The heals come out onto Zagara, shooting out some Banelings, and it's not going to be enough for her to live. Apocalypse not connecting. Oh no, it does connect with our what's that? Oh, that was Malfurion. Their both name is 0. I'm very confused by that. And okay. Cheeky stuff. Oh no, I believed in the blue team, but they didn't manage to do it. 30 seconds until the mines, which means they will have 0 members available for those mines. And Sergeant Hammer just wants to siege up, push this lane back, siege it back, get these catapults on that core, and he's actually just gonna get siege mode? Yeah? Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Should actually remove this so you can get the minions in front of you, get these catapults up there, but the catapults will burn through that pretty quickly. They still have another 15 seconds. The shield will be breached, and opting to get out of siege mode, which is actually in every sense, illogical. Because you're at a safe range dealing damage to the core, and then you walk into the core when you have no health. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Zagara back alive. They have to back up. They get it down to this 81% as these catapults are unleashing on it, and that's the victory. The catapults are now able to burst through the health relatively quickly, and this is forcing the blue team to actually have to deal with that. As a result, red team is in the mines in full force, and they are going to be cleaning up the seeds or the skulls very quickly. Already sitting at 23. Crimson, the red Zeratul, going down to this camp to gather as much as he can. And the blue team is still has, they have to leave Zagara behind to continue to push back this bottom lane, which has been pushed back so far. And as a result, every single auxiliary camp will have been collected by the time they get in there. If the other team take the boss, rush core. Well, I like this call. They're doing it. They're forcing them to not have this, and they have 4 catapults already unloading. So 0 needs to get this kill quickly. Red team is not responding. They're fighting the boss. They don't. Okay, the Hammer has realized that they're under heavy pressure. Thrall and Zagara, if they were here, this game would be over. But it might be anyways because they have that Robo Goblin. This backdoor Robo Goblin, in-your-face style, catapults, Shadow Assault onto the core. The blink over it. They're gonna actually do it. Very good. Very good. I am pleased. I am pleased with this replay. It was auto attack Zeratul versus auto attack Zeratul. Very silly, but also very powerful. We would just see him burn through tanks because of the increased damage you get. When you pop all those cooldowns, and you pop Shadow Assault, and you get in their face, you hit so hard. Stitches looks like a Tyrande. Like, what is that? That's ridiculous. And just really good decision-making by the Zeratul player in general. Like, he knew where to go. He found people that were weak, and he picked them off, and he kept the team alive because there was a lot of misplays on both sides. But Zeratul capitalized on so many misplays time and time again. People not playing safe, going in, finishing the boss like that. It was a really cool replay, and I'm actually super excited to see more of that and actual compositions designed around that, because this was a composition that had very little synergy. It was a map that had very little synergy from that game. And they were not pro players, no. That was definitely a quick match game. That's why I had viewers on both sides. That was not a pro match by any means, but I'm actually going to start approaching pros to get them to try this kind of stuff out and see if we can get replays for them to take a look at and get kind of like their perspective of it. Because like I'm sure Glaurung would have fun with this kind of style, or maybe a guy like Quibsy or something. So maybe in the future we'll have that kind of thing. But these are definitely like, I don't know the rank of every player. I wouldn't say they're rank 50 by any means, but definitely not like playing in tournaments. Especially that wasn't Hero League, because we know for a fact that Zeratul was on both sides, and there was no tank. I don't think it's very common to have a draft with no support. There's no support on the red team, and definitely part of why the sustained just like damage of that Zeratul was so effective, because there's no counterplay, there's no heals, there's no counterplay to it. So he's dishing out a lot of damage, maybe not immediately, but it's like it hurts, and it keeps hurting a lot, and if you don't have that heal to get you through it, well, guess what? It's not going to work out all that well for you. So yeah, I mean, you guys are saying Soldier and Glaurung would definitely do it. I should start hitting those guys up directly for those kind of replays. But we do have another replay to look at, and this is going to be on Dragonshire. Now, we're actually looking at Pseudosphere once again, and he did the auto tech style, so he's going to be making another appearance here on the Daily Quest. We'll be loading that game up in just a second. Alright. Loading up the game. Fast forward a little bit. And guys, if you're just tuning in, this is Attack Zeratul. This is part 2 of the show, but we're not gonna pause. We're just gonna keep on rolling. Second replay of the day, and Seasoned Marksman is picked up very quickly by Pseudosphere. So this is actually Zeratul Dittos once again, but this is gonna be block. So it's gonna be probably a standard caster Zeratul, and we're gonna compare that to a much more auto attack style Zeratul. And dun 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 dun. Imagine if RCs ran like this. So animated, weird. All right, Zeratul, Mal. Stitches. That is our bottom lane. Mid lane looks like Uther versus Tassadar. Stitches got riggedy wrecked the moment we looked away. Oh no, that was our blue Stitches who got riggedy wrecked up here. Fell into the trap of the Gaz, trying to get this kill on Vala. And we're just kind of fast forwarding as we do get the game going, because typically there's not a lot to talk about in the beginning of the game. Just a lot of like pacing around, trying to win your lanes and build that. So thing you have to consider on Dragonshire, and here's something that we can point out very quickly. When you're playing Zeratul with Seasoned Marksman, when you're playing any hero with Seasoned Marksman, the goal is to kill as many minions as possible, get as many Seasoned Marksman stacks. Every 6 enemy minions you slay, or mercenary kills near your hero, give you 1 basic attack damage. Now, on Dragonshire, this map has very short distance between the bottom and the middle. And as a result, the way the minions spawn too is also a little bit different, because the distance to travel, since this is angled and the middle lane is straight, it takes longer for the bottom minions to actually get to their lane. So the minions are a little bit staggered. A very proactive player with Seasoned Marksman can actually soak bottom and middle very effectively. So that's something, if there was a more roaming composition, a more coordinated composition for our blue team, that's something that would be in the realm of possibilities. Now, I assume this is quick match, and I assume that that's not necessarily the case, but that is something you have to consider as when you're running with auto tech in general, or if you're running with something like Taste for Blood on Asmodan, or anything that works like that. Even Bribe, if you're playing Falside, you're playing Bribe, you're playing a hero that you have Bribe on. That's also in the realm of possibilities. But right now, the red team, they're dominating the bottom and the top shrine. They have the capability of picking up a Dragonite, and Zeratul and Malfurion are going to be able to pick up this kill and retake the bottom shrine before a Dragonite is picked up in this game. Middle lane being bullied back by Uther and Stitches, and in the top, Vala by herself is doing what she can to defend off a Vala and a Gazlo, but that's of course not an easy task doing that 2v1, especially when one of your enemies is in fact a mirror matchup. Okay, looking at the talents again, level 4, Zeratul opted for that focus attack, so that's again that auto attack style. We see Merkin. That's his name. I'm just going to throw out that one cleave, back up, Singularity Spike will connect, getting him rather low, and the roots are going to connect. So, just barely able to get that kill. Nicely done by the two into the bottom lane. And Stitches, Gonna try to apply a little bit of aggression, force them back, but he already used his hook. He doesn't got a lot of threat available. In level 7, very close for both teams, will be attained in just one quick moment here. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see what Marksman is like on the new map. Of course, Tomb of the Spider Queen, the new map that's coming out very soon. We saw it at PAX East, and it's very close quarters, and you make a great point. It's going to be very interesting to see the style on that map. A Pseudosphere taking so much damage. He's going to have to blink. Yes, he does have it, but it's not going to be enough, as the other Zeratul also had his blink available. He was waiting. He was prepared, and Galien is going to be taking a lot of damage. Dragonite will not be attained for the blue team, as the two members are Stitches and Zeratul going to take that bottom shrine, but Vala able to pick up a kill with Stitches on the Gazlo in the top. Looking at the Zeratul, he is going the full-on safety style. He picked up block, picked up gathering power, and he picked up first aid. He's going sustain, get in, burst, but also have like a lot of like safety bubble. You know, he wants to be able to sustain a lot of damage. But against our Attack Zeratul, we're going to see how that pans out. Of course, block is not a bad choice. And oh, the body blocks are real, but Uther is so hard to kill. Gonna escape. Vala has fallen once again. The roots do not connect this time with Tony P, but the hook does connect from him. The shrines will be trading places. Red team trying to recapture this top one, but no, with Vala and Stitches, they're going to bully this Gazlo off. The hook goes out, and Vala just dodging the bomb. Going to go back in once the bomb expires and see what she can do to secure that kill. Bottom lane is constantly being fought over. Pseudosphere going to try to kill Merkin. Yes, he does blink over the wall, picks up the kill, and level 10 has just been reached with that actual kill. No, Tassie Do is just doing what Tassie Do's do, and that's kind of a little bit of everything. And through all of that, actually, the kill actually was picked up on Stitches. So right now, Pseudosphere, we can get a recap. He's already at 10 season marksman stacks because he's been soaking this bottom lane constantly. You don't have to go into the mines. You don't have to just run in there and then suddenly like spend so much time like, you know, dancing around doing all this skull grabbing, if you will. So it's working out very well for them. Of course, they gotta go back to work, have fun at work, but the roots connect with Merkin, and of course, if you're rooted, if you're stunned, you can't blink. In any situation like that, you cannot blink. It's your rip-a-roni and cheese if you're Zeratul, because you're rather squishy. Even with first aid and block, not gonna be enough, and Pseudosphere is just continuing to dish out the damage. He has Searing attacks, he has Shadow Assault, and that combo makes even a Stitches a viable target for you. He's pushing forward with this Dragonite. Stitches is going to be Hearthing, as Vala was able to provide a lot of damage, or put a lot of damage onto him. Put that blink forward, picking up the kill. The burstiness and the sustained damage is so real from Attack Zeratul, and it is working out. And actually, has he used Shadow Assault? Yeah, I think we actually missed it during that. But still going to pick up the kill on Stitches. He doesn't need Shadow Assault. He doesn't need Searing. Of course, the Searing attack is available in just a few seconds, and we should see that pop when he finds the opportunity. His mana is so low. Straight zoning. The hook onto Zeratul. Blink's going to be enough to get him out. Oh, no. Very careful. Very, very close situation. And they're not even going to end up getting this fort. Gravel Bomb is going to be complete. Actually, if Stitches decided to run, it could have helped them get out, because there was no combo lined up with it. Even if it connected, the Exploding Charge was not laid down first. You need to put that Exploding Charge down, then you put the Gravel Bomb in, and you pull the targets in, then it stuns them in place, and it allows you to do some pretty crazy wombos. But Stitches all by himself is challenging this Gazlo, Stitches, and Zeratul trio, and he's gonna be able to walk out of there because they don't aggress too hard, but he just has this confidence, this dominating presence where he's like, no, look, I can do what I want. But the hook connecting, no gorge will be used, but Putrid Bile is, of course, the rook he opted for in this game. And we're gonna see a reverse. Is he gonna gorge someone and walk them into the wall? This Stitches, very nice positioning. Walks right up over the bomb. He's not actually afraid at all. Oh, he's so greedy going for that Gazlo. Turns around. What's his gorge cooldown? He does have it. He's just been opting not to use it. And this other Stitches thinks he can dance like that. He thinks he can go and be cool, but no. This Attack Zeratul hits a little bit too hard. 19 stacks of seasoned marksman. he now has Assassin's Blade. That's 25% additional damage for 5 seconds after breaking cloak and 10% movement speed while cloaked. So right now he comes out of stealth, he pops that searing attack, so 75% additional damage on all of his auto attacks, and the top Shadow Assault, that's 20% increased attack speed for 6 seconds. So he's got basically 5 or 6 seconds where he's absolutely disgusting in terms of damage. And blue team, yeah, they're going to get this bottom temple. We got the knights there doing work. Vala loses her life here, but Uther trades out 1 for 1, getting the kill onto the Zeratul. Now, this is a joke. Really wants that tower, and he's actually going to fail. Did he overcommit? He actually did, so he will end up falling. He's going to be a ghost. That tower didn't even get it, and not worth the greediness. But during all of this, bottom lane being aggressed so hard by these three, the roots connect with Stitches, and that will be lights out. The blink forward, and just 2 auto attacks, enough to secure the kill on Stitches. Healing ward is getting so much efficiency. And looking at the meters, it's 21,000 for Pseudosphere. He's actually ahead of the Stitches on the enemy team. He's wrecking the Vala. He's way ahead of our bursts, our typical caster style Stitches. So right now, Pseudosphere is making this look very good. Watch out for their invis. Level 16 to 13, a massive advantage at this point in time. And he does have Berserk at level 16, so this is where everything starts to really come into play. I mean, that's 4 seconds of more attack speed and movement speed. It really allows you to get in their face, and I'm actually intrigued to see if we see. So there's a Shadow Assault, and he actually pops his other 2 cooldowns. He hits R and then 1-2, gets in their face, and unloads as much damage as he can. Of course, Tassadar makes it look a little less scary because of the way that he just disengages the fight. And if he actually was able to unload all of that damage onto a target that can't just go invisible and mitigate your damage, it would have looked actually just quite disgusting. But either way, we have Vala going forward, nearly getting the kill, and Zeratul forces out the Void Prison. Pseudosphere does manage to get out of that situation, and the BP is just going to stall Vala out in time to ruin the Dragon Knight's day. Dragon Knight not even getting close, didn't even deal damage to this fort, so really just kind of wasted. 0 damage has been taken on any of the towers. This one has been smacked. It has taken like 21 damage. Ooh, I didn't even know force balls in this game. I hadn't even noticed. But yeah, that's a thing. That's something to think about. In Pseudosphere, he's looking for a sack lunge. He's popping all those cooldowns. That Vala gets blown up. Random Vengeance not going to connect, and Zeratul is going to try to clean up. It's like an Illidan. He comes into this fight that's already been, essentially won, and he's turning it the best he can. The heals from Mouth allowing him to continue that aggression, and his cooldowns will be off cooldown in about 20 seconds for that Shadow Assault. We can see that he does have to wait another 40 seconds for Berserk because he did use it in that last fight. Only thing he had available at the time, but it worked out for him. He was able to do enough damage, and he's still sitting at top of those damage meters. 30,000 damage. The next highest, of course, 30,000, but Stitches. Stitches, they can always, it's a damage build Stitches in some regard, in the sense that he's actually getting Toxic Gas, he's getting Putrid Bile, and he's getting Mega Smash. But Superiority is actually a really interesting and weird talent that we typically wouldn't see. Typically you'd expect to see, a damaging talent or Amplified Healing picked up in its place. The hook goes out from our blue Stitches, not going to end up connecting, and you see he's going in much more standard build. It's going to be Cheery Food, Amplified Healing. He's getting Tenderizers, getting the Gorge, Relentless, and the Fishing Hook. That's the utility tank Stitches that we see so very commonly. And the Divine Storm and Roots are almost enough. The hook there, try to finish off this kill. If any of the damage dealers of the team were actually there, the red team would have been in such a bad spot. But Vala and Zeratul, they are elsewhere. Zeratul is like just kind of being a Protoss, doing Protoss things, hiding, waiting for the tower to spawn. And Vala, the enemy Vala has actually made her way down to the bottom. Now, we can see, again, both red damage dealers for the blue team in the top lane. The Rain of Vengeance connects, but the hook does connect. After that, they're going to be able to pick up that first kill onto the Vala. The bomb from the Explodium Charge connecting with both Uther and Stitches. But blue team is dominating this top lane. They pick up a kill on Tassadar. Pseudosphere almost dies, and Pseudosphere should be making his way to that Dragon Knight. So the Bruisers now spawning bottom temple or shrine picked up for blue team, and Pseudosphere is in position to grab that. Gazlo gonna try to deny it, but he will be a little bit too little too late. And he's actually now caught in a terrible position, gets caught with the roots, decides to sit down and charge his laser, and it did not pay off for him. And now this Dragonite has been picked up. There is a low Zeratul within it, and the hook comes from downtown, forcing up Putrid Bile for the red Stitches. Let's assess what the red team can do differently, because they're in a bad spot. They're in a bad spot. Their auto-attack Zeratul, they're learning what to do against it. And when you're playing without a support, it's very difficult. All they have is the Tassadar, and the Tassadar didn't even get healing for it, so it's a bit of a problem from the start. At this point in time, like, red team needs to try to defend this game. That's the obvious thing to say. Zeratul cannot die here, pops that first aid, he still has block, no stun comes up from Uther. And, well, actually, at this point, the keep is beyond saving. The hook goes out. If they can get the kill, they need to commit. They need to turn around and focus onto this target when you pull it in. You have to keep unloading on it, but the focus was not quite there when it happened. That's the kind of thing I think they're going to have to turn around and capitalize in this game. They just need to make sure they get those kills. Stitches with a very front position, not going to be able to live through that. Putrid Bile goes down, and it's going to end up being the loss of a keep and the loss of Stitches. So blue team kind of moving further and further. If that laser went onto Pseudosphere, he would have... Okay, so he does die. He goes forward with that Shadow Assault, and the laser does end up connecting. Game of throws. Blue team goes forward, throws 2 lives away. That force wall is actually quite big. If they can capitalize on the Stitches, they should be able to. Slob my knob. Such a good name. Rain of Vengeance will connect with both of them. The second stack not going to connect with Uther. Singularity Spike 1 and 2. This caster... No! No! The force wall helped him live, maybe? Oh, God. No! No! The Tranquility, the double healer, they're not going to die. The Divine Storm doesn't connect with anything, but the roots are definitely going to be a threat, trying keeping them alive. And they don't have the mana. They don't have the survivability to keep going through that. But they're still in the game because they got 3 kills. It's late into the game, level 20 to 18. They've caught up a little bit in experience, but it's still a bit of a dicey situation for the red team. They're down a keep. They're down all their forts, and they haven't taken a single structure. Full health for all the core buildings. And I guess they're actually called Town Halls. There's a great show called Town Hall. You guys should check it out and vote for it in the Twitch Streamer Awards. But we can see the murking is happening. Giants picked up. Bruisers will be picked up. More Bruisers and more Giants. And guess what? More Bruisers. Who would have thought? Every single merc camps on the map is currently being taken. This is a very common thing to happen before the changing of, or the spawning of the shrines, the changing of the Dragonite, if you will, if that happens. And Gazlo opting to Hearth back. Finally, some towers will end up falling. They're doing their best to push them back. They got their Giants rotating down to help. And oh, all of this. You can't face check a bush like that because that is going to be lights out for Vala, who got just hooked on up, hooked on Phonics? No, not what happened. He just died. And yeah, Gazlo also dying, but Uther did die on the side of the blue team. So it's a 2-for-1. Pseudosphere likely going to make it a 2-for-2. Yes, the blink for it. So it is a 2-for-2. So they make the best of a bad situation. And the shrine will end up going to the blue team once again. No, red team taking over the top shrine. 20 has almost been reached, and that is crucial for the red team. But it's also crucial for them not to overextend like this. This red Stitches is like, he has no right to be here. I don't know like what he hoped to accomplish, but if you don't know where the enemy team is and you know they're probably nearby because they were in the bottom lane, you can't just push in like that because he got collapsed on incredibly hard. Bottom lane going to be captured for the red team, and they have both temples at this point in time. So even though the red Stitches threw his life away, he was apparently a worthy distraction because the top lane got pushed out and the fort finally fell. Finally a fort on the board for the red team. But Tassadar needs to respect this. He needs to fall back. He's got the bruisers. Tassadar, does he have the race car build? Looking at his talents, he is a full race car, so he can get out of a lot of bad situations. There he goes, being a race car, living the late race car life. Gonna live to see another day, and Vala will end up connecting with this Malfurion. They're old buddies. They're gonna meet up here at their meeting place, and they're gonna duke it out. But guess what? Malfurion has more friends. Rain of Vengeance is not gonna save your day today, and that strafe. I mean, even the 4 attacks from the Rain of Vengeance not gonna be enough. Putrid Bile level up. Not something we see very often at level 20. That Future Battle lasts 2 seconds longer and heals 50% of the damage dealt, so that makes Stitches very tanky. Very interesting. We have the 4. We have the rewind on both Zeratul and Tassadar. But for our blue Zeratul, Pseudosphere, what does he have? He has the increased Shadow Assault that gives him health, steal, and extra damage, and this Dragon Knight is just going to finish that kill after VP was used. A rather comical situation. Stitches gets punted away. Other Stitches decides he wants to chase. Roots go down. Hooks go out. Red Stitches is never where he wants to be in this game. Tony P. Go make some pizzas. I can't hear the name Tony and not think of pizza because I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, Dragon Knight is dealing a lot of damage to the team, holding their lead. They're trying to get another keep here. The Gorge from Slob My Knob connecting with this player being Tassadar, who will race car his way out. Gravel Bomb is massive at this point in time, pulling people in, but again, he didn't combo it. You need to throw the Explodium charge down first, and then the Gravel Bomb needs to follow up. That's how the combo works with Gazlo. And if you do that, you can set up ridiculous situations, ridiculous combos. It's unfortunate we're not seeing that happen. Pseudosphere, oh, so close to getting Slambert destroyed in this game, but not quite connecting. Big Divine Hurricane going down from our blue Luther, and it's going to end up being enough to help them continue their aggression. Stitches comes back after getting punted, but this is not a joke, as you know, we do have our Dragon Knight just punting people away. The punch, the laser is charged from afar, just the tip connecting, and we do have this Tranquility, which is now keeping the blue team so healthy. Their health bar is just skyrocketing into the summits. The completely whiffed hook on a target that's standing still. Okay, that's good. That's good. Practice that, and well, this tower will end up losing its life. So the chat does want pizza from Tony P. So Tony P, if you would kindly mail us some pizza, all of us, it would be appreciated. And we can see these Giants are gonna end up being picked up for the blue team. Aggressively, they can grab some Merc camps, as every single Merc camp has respawned and they are available on the map. Zeratul back alive. He's gonna be stealthed on his stealth wolf. That wolf one's kind of funny. There's a limp. Oh no, that's Zeratul's foot. I'm actually just... Okay. I'm gonna stop talking now. Bruiser's getting picked up. Very good. And these Giants, they got those purple little bubbles on them. That's what Gazlos can do to you. They give you purple bubbles. That's actually what talent is that? The Dimensional Ripper, Hyper Focus Coils. It's one of these. It's one of these that puts like weird effects on the targets when you hit it with. I think it's a level 13 talent. And yeah, so Pseudosphere, I mean, he's been getting these stacks and he's farming more up. He's got 44 Seasoned Marksman stacks. His attack damage is pretty high, but that Rain of Vengeance, 4 stacks of it just raining hell onto that red Vala, picking up the kill. The strafe coming out from the blue Vala. I guess it was the red Vala that threw Rain of Vengeance that died, so I guess I bungled that one, guys. The hooks. Singularity. And then he's, yeah. Ooh, force wall! Oh no. Alright, race car. This is like Wonky Wednesday number 1 with race car force wall Tassadar, and then Wonky Wednesday number 3 with this very strange auto attack Zeratul, which actually seems to be rather effective. Boom. So much damage from those Explodium charges. And the temples will be spawning rather soon. Bottom bruisers available. And by spawning soon, I mean they're ready for the blue team. And yes, this is a joke. Considering his life as a dragon, yes, he says, I do want to be a dragon. I have chosen this life. Let us go forth, as he gets colorized. And he's marching on in with this Dragon Knight. All 3 keeps have been demolished, and the blue team will march to the core. 22 minutes into this game, they are ready to end it. Maybe. Dragon Knight actually not opting to attack the core. Typically when you have a Dragon Knight this late in the game, you just want to go straight to the core, but oh my goodness, if that Gazlo had actually comboed his ability, that combo would have been disgusting, but it still is going to be enough to pick up the kill on Pseudosphere. But you can't stop a Dragon Knight unless you attack it. And it hits hard. Oh, who would have thought? You can't kill a thing unless you shoot it. Like, it just doesn't work that way. But nicely done here by our blue team. Very cool games with Attack Zeratul. I mean, honestly, they were identical builds. Yeah, I think they're kind of the build that we expected. We looked at the talents at the start of the game, at the start of the show, and I think they were exactly what we kind of anticipated. We said maybe we would see first aid as like a variation, but it doesn't. I mean, you kind of need searing attacks to make it work. But especially in that first series, we saw just the Shadow Assault damage with searing attacks and whatever the level 13 talent is called, Assassin's Blade, just absolutely obliterate like Diablo and Stitches and whatever was in his path. So some really cool stuff, some really fun play, and guys, thank you for the replays. Now I have to pull up my calendar and figure out what next week's going to be. Actually, I'm not even going to announce it yet. I'm not even going to announce it yet because I have a feeling we're going to have a patch next week, and patches ruin replays. So I don't want to set the theme too soon and have everyone play the games and have all the replays get ruined, because it's happened before. But yes, there will be another episode of the Daily Quest tomorrow, where, of course, I will be looking at replays from the ESL Major League. I think that's going to be the case this week. We're going to be looking at competitive replays. I haven't decided which hero I'm doing, but I'm going to do a focus. I'm going to do a very introductory episode looking at competitive replays of a specific hero, how to play them, why things work, what doesn't work, where you can kind of bend talents and go different paths, and what situations you'd want to do that. So it's going to be very much like a hero spotlight tomorrow. You guys can request heroes if that's what you'd like to see. If you guys would like to request a specific hero, unless you wish to put a spotlight on. As it stands, I'm probably going to be doing one on Rhaegar, because again, I've been seeing threads in the forums asking how do I use this hero effectively. I feel worthless. He's a melee hero, but I feel like I don't do anything. Yada yada yada. So I just kind of want to dive into Rhaegar. He's of course my favorite hero. It's going to be episode 10, so episode 10 is a pretty good time to do your favorite hero. I think because that's such a relevant number for whatever reason. No. Yeah, so that's going to do it here for the Daily Quest, and I'm actually going to continue streaming. So I'm just going to throw to a quick bumper. I'm going to grab a glass of water, and in just a couple minutes, we're going to play some Hero League. I'm one game away from rank 2, finally. We've been just playing a few games a day, trying to solo queue our way to rank 1, and I'm about one game away from rank 2. So I'll be back in just a few minutes, guys, with some more stuff. And anyone watching the VOD, thanks for tuning into the Daily Quest, and we will be back tomorrow with episode number 10.